Hi there, my name is Ashika,
Hello, my name is Dominic.
and welcome to our entry, Small Businesses.
Ashka and I are going to be talking about small businesses and trying to take a bigger look about them.
We want to be able to learn a bit more about their businesses and the struggles they may have had in opening them.
What are some of the pros and cons of opening a business?
Is it a stressful process, or is it really a laid-back experience?
Are there any similarities between their experiences, or are they all completely different?
Well, we hope to answer all of these questions and more, so without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so my first question is going to be, what's the name of your business, how long has it been open, and what do you sell?
My business is Gay Astronaut Jewelry, or GAJ. It's technically been open since about June 2020, but I launched my own website in September 2020. I sell everything from earrings, earplugs, to necklaces, and it's all handmade.
So my name is Leah Garrison. The name of my business is Masking in Mather, and I make items starting or basically from the pandemic starting last year. I started making masks. I've made a few gaiters also, which is kind of the longer they. I've also made scrub caps. I've made a few aprons and some baby burp cloths. So anyway, that's where I am.
Hey there, my name is Zana and I'm a second year college student, and the name of my business is Three Tails Designs, and it has been open for almost 2 months now, and I sell things like stickers, scrunchies, and coffee mugs.
Okay, so my second question is going to be, why did you decide to start your business and sell the items that you do?
I have asthma and a very weak immune system, so I did not feel safe getting a regular job where I live, especially when the pandemic first started. I live in South Florida, so many people don't believe in the pandemic or wear masks, so it affected my ability to get a job. I have a passion for breaking stigmas, such as stigmas against periods and just making fun jewelry you literally can't find anywhere else. I use my business to donate to many BIPOC and or LGBTQ+ organizations to help support minorities, especially in this time of need.
My business, I started that. It's actually kind of funny for me to even call it a business because I never was planning on doing anything working out of my house. Our son, who is in the Air Force, lives out of state. He's stationed in Montana. And last year, around March, I want to say it was, he had called me and told me that they were given some instructions that they needed to start wearing masks at work, but they were not being issued them. Of course, he was like, "Mom, what can you do? Can you help me out?" Well, so I got out the sewing machine and watched several YouTube videos. I actually ended up combining 2 different mask tutorials and kind of making my own. So that's how it started. I started making them for Preston, who is our airman, and it just kind of blew up from there.
So I decided on opening this business just because of the artistic side of myself. I just wanted to turn my art into a little bit like drawing and stuff. I just wanted to turn that into something just other than just drawing it, that's all. So I sell the items like stickers, scrunchies, and coffee mugs, like I said. The reason why I sell these things is because I think those things are very therapeutic towards others. In my opinion, if there is a sticker or even anything that is like very enlightening in a sense, that can really push you, motivate you to work harder.
How long would you say it took you from wanting to start a business to actually getting it open?
I started on Depop just for fun for some extra cash, so I just hopped on one day and posted some of my earrings. My Depop started getting way more attention than I thought it would, so I started genuinely working as a small business around July. Depop and PayPal fees started to add up, so I took about 2 months building my current website on Wix and clientele on social media.
As far as your question for how long it probably took, I would say probably about a month. By the time I really had a good set amount of fabrics and threads and the elastic.
So my fourth question is, what would you say the biggest struggle of starting your business was, and how has the pandemic affected your business?
The biggest struggle at first was underpricing my items and trying to balance between work and life. The pandemic definitely affected USPS and made delivery times really slow, and many people weren't buying from small businesses because many people lost their jobs and couldn't afford it.
As far as what kind of, impediments I had, was probably getting a hold of the products to make them. That was initially, it was more of a how to make them, but it was more important to me to make them the right way for the best coverage, but then on top of that, for the best fit. And so combining all of those things together, I think, was probably, kind of difficult initially.
So I would say the pandemic did not affect my business as much since I started towards the end in December. I think everybody pretty much got used to it, but the only struggle that I found myself into was not finding people to actually reach out to, and it's kind of hard through social media to actually promote and market your things. Promoting your business in person is another thing, so I think that's one thing that I found a little struggle with.
My next question, what do you like the most about owning a small business, and what do you like the least?
I love being able to make my own hours and taking breaks whenever I can, but that's also one of my least favorite parts. At first, it was almost impossible to separate my home life from my work life, and I found myself getting burned out often from overworking myself. I finally found a balance and made a schedule for myself to help with that, and it's so much better, especially since now I'm back at school.
Getting to know a little bit of our general area that we have right here that we're in need. And if people couldn't afford them, then I would just make them, for free and donate them. But people that I ended up coming in contact with, it was kind of nice to get to know people too. So that's been kind of nice, is to meet people. What I like the least about actually making them is having to cut my fabric, having to cut and measure out all of those things. I mean, if I had a ready-made assembly line of having all of my different products ready to go, that would have made a huge difference.
I love everything about my small business, from making to listing to packaging my orders, everything. Finding perfection is one of the things that I find myself struggling in, and that's something that I really not like and least like.
Do you think there are any big misconceptions with starting a small business? And if so, what would they be?
I think the big misconception is that we make tons of money. That is 100% not true, unless you are super big/famous. For regular small businesses like me, we spend most of our money we make on more supplies and shipping costs. Buying boxes to ship products can cost over $100 sometimes. People think because I have 200,000 followers on TikTok, I make loads of money, but at the end of the day, after all the fees and costs of having a small business, I don't actually make that much money, which is why most of us have a primary job.
I think one misconception might be that it's some kind of big money maker, that, it's going to be really easy to have your own business versus leaving your house and going to work for somebody else. If you are doing something to make a living, then that would be one thing. You would have to get into the marketing part of it and researching and that kind of thing. For me, I wasn't really looking for that. I just initially, like I said, started making them for our son. Yeah, I think it's a really nice thing if it's something that you want to do that's helping the community a little bit and also helping your own household.
So yes, there is definitely a big misconception, which is that small business at home is easy for them, and it's not. Let me just make that clear, because it's really hard if you're doing college or if you have kids. It's definitely super hard. There's a lot of things like taxes, finances, just setting up your websites, promoting yourself, marketing, things like that.
What do you wish you knew before you started your business, and what's some advice you would give to someone who wants to start their own business?
One tip I wish I knew, and is kind of weird, is to post on Pinterest. Pinterest was the last thing I would have thought about to post on. I was posting everywhere from Instagram to TikTok to Facebook. Pinterest has actually really helped advertise my business and get it out to a lot of people. Another tip is, if you do make TikTok videos, don't use the trending hashtags. Use hashtags that are specific to what you sell and what is in the video. I
wish we had never needed these, really. I mean, obviously the need for these saddens me. As far as somebody else, wanting to look into possibly doing this, I say just keep encouraging yourself. Keep realizing that you are helping to make that difference in less people getting sick. All of these things that we do to better the community is going to be good in the end. As far as what I wish I knew how to sew better before I started. That might have helped. I'm going to be 50 next month, and there are definitely things that I wish I had known about this a little bit sooner. YouTube is a really good tool. That's all I can say about that. That has been super helpful for me, because if not, forget it.
So I wish I knew a lot of things, but because coming from a major that is not marketing or business related, it's kind of hard to run your own business and do things on your own. Some advice that I would really give out to someone is that talk to people, try to reach out to them. However you're working, whatever opportunities you have, whatever chances you have, try to reach out to them and talk to them and see what they can do for you and what you can do for them, and support and help each other out. And don't ever strive for perfection, because you won't find it, and one could really just get themselves towards the failure if they strive for perfection. So just try to avoid that, follow what's right, and work towards your goals. Just work hard as you can.
And my last question is, where would someone go to buy your products or services?
You can buy my products at gayastronautjewelry.shop, and you can even buy them on Instagram at gayastronautjewelry.
I can be found on Nextdoor, which is our Nextdoor app, our community app. I'm also on a Facebook page that I've created, same name, Masking and Mather, and I freely list my phone number, my email, and they can get a hold of me through any of those.
So here are some of the stickers that I make, and you can definitely check out these items and get them if you would like. These are the scrunchies that I sell, and you can definitely reach out to me through these social media platforms. And I hope that if any of you out there is looking to start your own small business, I hope that I can be helpful to someone. You guys can DM me at on my Instagram, and I can totally help anyone who would like to start their own business.
Thanks for watching, but that's going to be all from us today.
Bye!